Welcome to Growth Hack by Poppy Digital. Tips and tricks to master the algorithms from industry insiders. Now here's your host, Julian Espinoza.
Today we will be covering what to do after you've selected your target audience. The idea here being we now need to market ourselves. So what do you do next? It's safe to assume that anyone listening to this podcast has a fixed budget to spend on marketing. So the logical question to ask is, where is my budget best spent? Another safe assumption is listeners want results. Results can mean many different things to many different people. Today we'll be focusing on acquiring new customers and the steps to take after you've selected your target audience. As growth hackers, our philosophy is to find the fastest and the most cost-effective ways to revenue. From a digital marketing standpoint, let's cover some of the options we can use to market a business. You can rank a website on the search engines, either using SEO, search engine optimization, or pay-per-click. You can send emails to an existing data list or acquire new emails. You can pay for banner ads on a specific website that your audience visits. And of course, you can use social media. Generally speaking, and depending on the business, social media can be the fastest and most cost-effective way to revenue. For the moment, I'll pretend everyone agrees with us that social media is the right option. Now, we're on the same page, let's get into the details. The first thing we need to do when we're doing social media marketing is to select a channel. So what are the options? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Pinterest. And this list will continue to grow in the years to come. But don't get overwhelmed. There's a simple way to pick a social media platform. You ready for the secret? Find where your audience lives on. If you haven't already selected your target audience, you'll need to go back and listen to episode 3 that helps you select your target audience. If you have, then we've got a great resource for you. It comes from Social Sprout.
Sprout Social is social media management, advocacy, and analytics software for businesses. Sprout's platform offers users the ability to integrate with Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Google+, Zendesk, User Voice, Feedly, and Google Analytics. The Sprout Social platform's key features include the Sprout Q content scheduling system and patented viral post technology for determining the optimal post time, the Smart Inbox, a unified stream of all incoming messages across social networks, and an analytics suite which provides reporting across social networks.
Social Sprout took the data collected in 2018 by Pew Research Center and made it into a simple-to-digest infographic. The infographic looks at demographics of users on major social media platforms that will help you decide which channel your target audience spends most of their time on. The link will be available in the show notes. Since most of you are listening to this, let's give some examples on what channel potential customers may be on. Let's assume your consumers are teenagers. I'm guessing most of you by now know they can be found on Snapchat and Instagram. There's also a new player on the field, TikTok, formerly known as Musical.ly. Let's cover the data. 70% of teenagers use Snapchat, and 72% are using Instagram. Generation Z is looking for the newest and greatest social media platform, which is causing a massive decline on Facebook for this audience. Jumping to the complete opposite generation, let's talk about baby boomers. As most of you know, in the last several years, they've jumped on the social media bandwagon, either to reconnect with friends or see photos of their grandchildren. Take a guess at what channel they're using. You guessed it right, Facebook. 41% of baby boomers use Facebook. The shocking other channel they're using is YouTube. In fact, 40% of baby boomers use YouTube. Don't expect them to be posting a TikTok video anytime soon unless their grandchild decides to put them in one of their prank videos. We've covered 2 generations here. When you get a chance, check out the infographic Social Sprout created to look at different age ranges, genders, and other demographics to see where your audience is spending their time on social media. Now that we know what channels our audience is using, the next logical step is to go market to them on these channels. Now be careful, because this can be a trap.
A digital marketing trap is seeing an opportunity to promote your business online with the expectations that the campaign will return you dollars on your investment.
The reality is most digital marketing fails. They fail for many different reasons, but looking at this strategy is your first step to avoid a digital marketing trap.
Why would marketing to your audience on a channel they use be a trap? Without considering what type of content performs well on that channel and the capabilities or the resources you have, you might end up failing on that channel. We've developed a strategy that we call the CAR method. What it does is it looks at the type of content that performs well on the platform, then factors if you're able and capable of being successful on the platform. CAR is an acronym we created, and it stands for C, capabilities, A for access, and R for resources. Starting with C for capabilities, it refers to the hard skills needed to create content. Being able to use Photoshop, edit videos, record sound, being able to write a script, or a blog post. Assessing the capabilities you have will start you down the path of figuring out what channel will work best. Remember, every channel has different content that performs well, and choosing the channel that has the content in the realm of your abilities is where you want to begin. Next, we have A for access. It refers to who do you have access to? Do you have access to your customers? Do you have access to an industry expert? Do you have access to employees? The type of access you have will determine the type of content you can produce. And lastly, we have R for resources. It refers to the capital you have to invest in the resources you lack. For example, if you don't have an in-house video editor, but you can afford to outsource to one. Or maybe you have someone on your team that has editing experience and can edit the video. If you don't have the financial resources to hire a video editor, then you might decide skipping filming long-form videos and focus on creating different content instead. The more resources you have, the more options you have to test out different content. It's important to remember the acronym CAR when determining channel and content. You need to evaluate your capabilities, know who and what you have access to, and finally, what resources you have to be able to determine what content you're going to create. Thank you for joining us today on Growth Hacking Podcast. We have future episodes that will expand on topics we covered here today, and we will have guest speakers joining us to discuss strategy, social media channels, and other relevant topics to help you succeed with digital marketing.